Hello, welcome to today's stream. Today we will be continuing on with the project from the other day. So let me get you caught back up. So previously I was working on some of the skeleton templates okay, so what I did just now before the stream was I installed a bunch of ShadCN stuff, and I pretty much installed the entire set because a lot of times if you install one by one as you need it, and then when you install one item, one component, then it alters the settings for the other ones. So I figured just install all of them right now, and already I can see that it changed a lot of my CSS stuff on what I worked on previously. So I guess I'll have to clean that up pretty soon here. Let me actually, because I wanted to work on like a little hex calculator practice app kind of thing, but I can't really see half my buttons right now and my text, so I need to go and clean up a whole bunch of that stuff. And yeah, so but at least I installed all the ShadCN already, so from now it's just clean up, and then once I get it working, looking properly, then it should be smooth sailing from there. So let me see. Did it change any of my CSS stuff? Yeah, so I think a lot of this was Shad's doing. So you can see I imported that, and then here I've got all this random stuff. It might have, yeah, I think it actually completely overwrote a lot of what I already had, maybe? Seems like it, but I'm not completely sure, but okay. So, add theme. Just okay, so I can start to see some of my content again. Maybe I... So my links do not appear to be changing. Body. Okay, so now I can pretty much see everything again. Lost a lot of the coloring from before, but that's okay. Alright, at least I can see enough to get started on actually coding something I'm interested in. So under Academy, I have classes, flashcards, quizzes, games, memory. Under memory, if I add, I want to add something for math. I have memory exercises. Quizzes, flashcards. Memory, okay, let me see. Memory, classes, flashcards. I guess I'll classes, flashcards, quizzes. Games. Let's go get started on memory, whatever. Okay, so for under numbers, function gen. Alright, phone number. And this will just give me a random number. Okay. So 10 digits. I don't know if it's different for outside the US, but I'll stick to this for now. 10 digits to an array. Then print the digits with hyphens. Okay. So I need to create a, not the phone string. Actually, I'll add that at the end. The phone digits array equal to that. Let me look up how to do arrays in JavaScript. Okay, so let this array, just get the empty array, and then create a for loop. And I might, yeah, here, let me use the array constructor so I can actually edit the contents. Array, digits, new array. Alright, that should work. Okay, constant number array, this floor. Okay, let me just try this. This number noise. Hundred. me try that. And generate phone number, so I need a button. Random numbers array is not defined. Random number array is not defined. No. Okay, so now I have the array. It does have 10 digits. So let's see, this all works properly. Now I need to create a string with it. String comes a join. Okay, so I can use slice and join, or I can use replace the template string. Okay, so slice and join. Array is array. So numbers array. It's getting passed in here. Digits. So this one, digits to my number string. Let me see what that does. One four. Okay, let me see. This does give me 1600, 145,847. Okay, so that works. Kind of want to change the formatting a little bit. Okay, so that does what I want it to do. So it's now, when I click generate phone number, it logs a random phone number. And every time I run it, it gives me a new number. So what I now want it to do is to print to the page, and I'll probably add in parallel routes for this, because right now I'm just going to put everything on one page, but I'll break it up into subfiles later. So let me see, I have this. I'm going to have a div, and this div will be for my phone stuff. Generate phone number. I'm going to start with this just for the one number, and then I'll probably change it to a list in a little bit. Let's see. Can I do this? Oh yeah, that actually worked. Alright, so now I can generate my random number, and once I start actually getting into Prisma, so I'll probably spend like a good amount of time learning the ins and outs of that. Because right now it doesn't do me too much good if I lose the data whenever I switch pages. So it does give me something. Let me add another. Let me see. I think Shad gave me a drop down. Let me see. Okay, and then I might add a timer as well. So it'll display the number for a certain amount of time and then give you a certain number of time to answer it. Let me see what this looks like. Theme. So here I have this. And this probably brings me back to whatever the React issue was to get the value. I think I also would like to have this not be a select drop down, but maybe more of like a slider, maybe just a input text. Actually, yeah, let me go with input text instead. Okay, so generate phone numbers. Okay, so now every time that I run this, just adds it on. Generate phone number. And what I'd rather have this do, if I return this value from the function, then I can add the return value to what gets added to here. This will just generate it, and then so here I can get the value that I input, and then whatever that's going to end up being. I know I have to change that, but for now I'll just keep it there. Okay, so for now distance 1. And here's the input value. Let's change that to something a little bit better named. The amount of numbers. Kind of long naming conventions, but whatever, makes readability a little bit easier. Your phone number, so we get the value. Okay. So probably bring me back to my original React issue, but let me see. JavaScript, set inner HTML. You get value from input. Display value. Okay, so here's the input element by my element. I called this amount of numbers. Let me change it to amount of phone numbers because again, this is just on one page at the moment. So let's see. So amount of phone numbers becomes amount of phone numbers and the input value. And this will probably give me a React error, but let me see what happens. Okay, show phone number. Oh, because I'm not even calling it. Okay. Huh. Okay, well, for some reason that works, so okay, cool. So now what I need to do is so let's see. So here I get my value. For where was okay. Let's see. I've already generated everything. Is less than the input value. We will call generate phone number. I can probably move that to here. Why do I have this here? Oh, I just copied it. Okay. So I get that there. Generate phone number. Need these now. Okay, so that broke something. Wait. Okay, cool, that works. I just had to make sure I actually selected input value. Let me change the default for that to 1. Value, okay. So now if I click it, but what I also want it to do is clear show phone numbers. Okay, so this, so I get the value, and then I get that. So this should just clear it. Yep, okay, cool, so that works. But if I put in the value, then I can't change it. Let's see. Okay. Let me try value. So that makes it static. Also set to change it using JavaScript. So it is, here's my phone number. Generate phone number. So this will just, okay, default value gets 1, can't access default value, it's null. Well, let me see, one sec. Because on Mozilla's website, I can change the value. but on mine I can't. Provided a value prop to a form field without an onChange handler, this will render a read-only field. If the field should be mutable, use default value. Otherwise set, okay, alright, cool. That actually makes sense. So default value, component is changing, likely a component is changing a controlled input to be uncontrolled. This is likely caused by the value changing from a defined to undefined, which should not happen. Decide, okay. Alright, so that goes away just by refreshing the page. So now it works properly. And if I click generate phone number, it'll randomly delete them. And I can change it. Okay, cool. So I now have that somewhat working. At least it's usable. Let me see. Let me add something to show hide the numbers. Okay. This one, let me see. So again, right now I just have this inside of a p tag, but I do eventually want to put that into a list, maybe like a numbered list. I'll get back to that later. I'd show phone numbers. And then I need the input so that it can check it. And I might also want to, for whatever my list is, add it to an array. And then that way, let me do check phone numbers. Phone numbers, okay. Let's say I generate 3 numbers, and then I can hide show it, and then I have an input to check it. Create a few, and then I can toggle it. Okay, so that works. And then now for the check phone number part, so I need an input. Okay. Now I can generate the phone number, I can hide show the numbers, and I can check my phone numbers. So what I think I also want to do, set these all up into their own div. Or, yeah. Last name. Weighted. Here's my grid. Okay, so how do I rearrange this? Here's the phone numbers. Not sure if this one actually requires its own div, but whatever. Move that to there. Move that to there. Let me see how that looks. A little bit better. So I can generate my numbers, then I can show hide them. And then I can check my numbers. Check my phone numbers. Show hide. So what I can do, toggle show hide at the same time that I'm showing it. So whenever I'm adding this to here, I can also add an input element to the opposite side. And then I think I assign it like a key or something to keep track of which one is which. But I will also have to rewrite then the, what is this, the way that the phone numbers get displayed. Because right now it's just kind of one giant string, whereas I would need each one of them to be unique. So for each one I add it to an array, and then that way I can print each array, so it'll be an array of strings, so it'll turn the whole phone number into a string for each one, and then that way I can just compare strings based on what input I have. So let me see, go like that. Let me go and input, so here I have an input value. I have phone number input. Is that not what it's called? Okay. Parsing ECMAScript source code failed. Phone number, oh. Maybe that'll fix it. Okay. So now if I generate 5 numbers, I get an error. Undo number, can't access lexical phone number inputs before, okay. Let phone number inputs. Seems like it should work. Don't think that'll fix it, but let me see. Okay, so I have some can't access lexical declarations before initialization. And I still got these things here. Okay, so I have my div with an ID. Phone number input, get document. I generate a few numbers and then it works. Okay, cool. So now I have a list, and for each number I also have an input. So, and then I can hide the phone numbers and then still answer them. So for the check phone numbers, it'll change the text to red if it's correct and otherwise green. Let's see. Add show phone numbers, generate phone numbers. But if I keep clicking generate, it does not clear the other thing. So let me make sure I do that as well. Where does the clearing of the other thing appear? So right now the phone number, okay, so generate phone number just returns this. Okay, so now I can generate as many times as I want, and it'll still only show the correct number. So let me see. Generate. Let me figure out how the keys work. Okay, I don't need key presses. What does... Let me look up the input tag. So for type ID name, maybe the name is what I need to go with. Let me see. So it specifies the name of the input element. So I think I could use the name. But I need to figure out, once I have the name, how do I match it? I guess I still need to change the input text to an array. And that way I can compare if the element in the array is the same as the name. So I'll just start at 0 and then maybe change the name to an integer and then compare that way. And then go through a for loop where I compare both. And if it matches, then change the color to to green, and if it doesn't match, change the color to red. So I think that should work. And then I still need to rewrite it to make it so it actually works with databases, but I'll do that later. Alright, so this is a good little start though. I'm going on about 1 hour. Let me see. Not sure if I want to take a break. I kind of want to take a break from the phone number thing for a sec. But I don't know if I want to take an actual break or if I'd like to work on a different thing. Practice, Academy homepage. Profile. Let me just look over a bit of what I've already got here. Still need to download some template images. So here I have my goal input. Here's a checkbox. This, add goal, edit goal. So if I create a div, and then I can toggle displaying it. I need to figure out these parallel intercepting routes again. Let's see. Right now I'm just kind of getting some practice in. I can optimize it once I get the hang for how everything is. Add goals, edit goals. Okay, let me go take a break from streaming. Might stream again later, or I'll just work on some other stuff in the meantime. Thanks for watching, and have a good day, and hopefully see you soon.